Welcome to Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin, and today I'll be discussing Casablanca from 1942. This is the last review for Season 2, and this is the 100th overall episode of Really Old Movies. And those who know me, this is also my favorite film of all time, so this has been a long time coming. So without further ado, let's talk about some behind-the-scenes details about Casablanca. So this is from the film's IMDb. Many of the actors who played the Nazis in this film were in fact German Jews who had escaped from Nazi Germany in the 1930s and onward. Some of these include Conrad Veidt, who plays the German officer. Another detail, Rick's Cafe was one of the few original sets built for this film. The rest were all recycled from other Warner Brothers productions due to wartime restrictions on building supplies. And lastly, during the scene in which La Marseillaise is sung over the German song Die Wacht am Rhein, or The Watch on the Rhine, many of the extras had real tears in their eyes, as a large number of them were actual refugees from Nazi persecution in Germany and elsewhere in Europe, and were overcome by the emotions this scene brought out. This scene was copied from Jean Renoir's The Grand Illusion from 1937, in which French soldiers and a German POW sing the song as a similar gesture of defiance. In that film, the song was led by a prisoner who was in drag for a show the prisoners were putting on. The song was written in 1792 by Claude Joseph Roger de Lisle in Strasbourg after the declaration of war by France against Austria, and was originally titled Chant aigu pour l'armée de Rhin, War Song for Rhine Army. Alright, so now let's get into my thoughts on the plot. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I believe it's excellent. I love the progression of Rick from a jaded and more neutral bar owner to the hero by the end of the film. And I also love that we, the audience, don't really know what he's going to do. Will he go with Ilsa to America? Will he let her go? We don't really know until it happens. And so, like Ilsa, we're just as surprised. I also love that the film shows the tensions of the war in the Moroccan region before any of the battles really took place. In fact, when this movie was coming out, the Allies invaded into North Africa, so it was kind of they had no idea that was going to happen at all. It just was circumstance, but really played into people loving this film. For acting, I gave that a 5 out of 5 as well. I thought it was incredible. I love Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. They're great in their respective roles. And he may not outwardly show it, but you can really hear in Rick's voice and the tone he gives, how hurt he was by her and how bitter he is. I also love that Bergman's trying to tell him the truth, but can't bring herself to do it. I also love Conrad Veidt as a Nazi officer and Claude Rains as a French officer. Both were really great and just all around a fantastic, amazing cast. Okay, for directing, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I think Michael Curtiz was superb in his work here. He knew how to capture the pain in Rick and Ilsa's eyes, how to set up tense scenes. We're mostly in the cafe. There's no action scenes, nothing like that. It's all dialogue and music driven and camera angles and just all of that. It's incredible stuff. He does a lot with little, it's amazing. Okay, for cinematography and special effects, I gave that a 5 out of 5 as well. I thought it was incredible. Especially the close-ups at the end with Rick and Ilsa. I also love the scene where Rick is holding the bottle of gin, of all the gin joints in all the world, and she walks into mine. That scene. I also love the beginning sequence where we see civilians running away from German officials, just cementing how under control Casablanca was. Like I said earlier, with the cinematography, they say a lot without having to actually say anything. It's really, really good. I love it. Okay, in regards to music, 5 out of 5. Really amazing. As time goes by, it gets me every single time. It's such a good song. I also love the scenes where Laszlo has the people sing Marseillaise versus the German song, the Nazi anthem. I love it. Amazing, amazing music all around. Great score, very memorable. Um, yeah, it's just amazing. I don't know what else to add. It's just so good. All right, so tallying that all up, that brings my letterbox score to, you guessed it, a 5 out of 5. Would I recommend this movie 1,000 times? Yes. This is my favorite movie of all time, and it's because of the acting, the dialogue, cinematography, music. All of it is top notch. Some of the best I have ever seen. I think I've seen the movie maybe 9 or 10 times now. It gets better every time. So you will not be disappointed. To me, this is a movie I could put on no matter what day of the week it is, no matter how I'm feeling. I could put it on and still enjoy it and still really, really love it. That's why it's my favorite movie of all time. All right, well, those are my thoughts on Casablanca from 1942. And again, this is the season finale for season 2. So next week we'll be starting into season 3. And I'm really excited. There's some great films I got picked out for that. A lot of first time watches and a lot of ones I've seen before. But I'm really, really excited. And again, thank you all so much for listening to the show. And this being the 100th episode, I'm really, really happy about that and glad everybody, has been listening and just being willing to talk about old movies with me. It's been really fun. I'm excited for the next 100 movies to go, right? So again, thank you all so much. And thanks for listening to today's episode. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Reely Old Movies, where I discuss details about the week's particular film. New podcast episodes are released Saturdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. All right, well, thank you so much. This has been Reely Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. Take care.